Thanks for stopping by the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the real of reality TV.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind.
What is going on, guys? Listen. It is funny with the Diddy verdict, the not guilty, the, guilty on lesser charges, and all of these people that are pretty much, I feel like, roaches coming out and just letting themselves be revealed. They were in the dark, but the light is on, and now the roaches are being revealed. And I just feel that these are some of the roaches. I'm just going to be honest with you, because when I heard about this, if you just look at it on the surface level, you may say, well, who cares what somebody likes? It's just a post. It's just a, whatever. But it's the content as well as the context, especially in light of these people who have had some issues, shall we say. All right. So Shamea Morton and Kandi Burruss have been exposed for liking a post and comment about this verdict, and the fact that Tiny commented on it to say people want to judge people so badly and criminalize being freaky and whatever. And the God's honest truth is, I don't really want to know what any of these people do in their private lives and in their bedrooms or in anybody else's bedroom for that matter. But I feel it's important because when you have someone like Shamea Morton, who has, I won't say used, but has exposed the fact that she was in a DV relationship for a while, and how a lot of people didn't believe her, and she wasn't supported because the person that she was married to at the time, a lot of people was supporting and felt like that person was a good guy. And then Kandi Burruss, who was accused of allegedly trying to do some things to Porsha along with Candy's husband and drag her down into her alleged sex dungeon and drug her and take advantage of her sexually, and how she was just like, I cannot believe that you would put some things out there like that about me. And whether it was true or not, I mean, she says that it wasn't. She capitalized off of the moment, off of the allegations. And then now, with there being, I believe, I don't care if the jury acquitted them, this is some real stuff. These are real people and have gone through some real stuff with a guy that is not a good guy, period. 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 So to like some posts and some comments about him being found not guilty, I feel like those are the times you just keep your mouth shut and you keep your opinion to yourself or in your close circle of friends. Because for us as the viewing public to know that this is how you feel, it just shows that you really are maybe kind of like what some people have been accusing you of. So this is from the Mr. Housewives blog on Instagram. And so he says, this is surprising. By now, most people have heard that Sean Diddy Combs was found guilty of 2 out of the 5 federal charges he was facing, both related to transportation to engage in selling sex. The charges he was not convicted of include racketeering conspiracy and 2 counts of sex trafficking by force. Since the charges were made public, disturbing allegations have surfaced against Diddy. Several individuals testified about experiences involving RAPE, being drugged, physical abuse, coercion into sex work, forced drug use, and even abuse involving minors. So when the verdict came down and he was only found guilty on 2 counts, many people were shocked and felt that justice hadn't been fully served. However, not everyone reacted negatively. Ebony Electra, a close friend of the late Kim Porter, mother of Diddy's children, posted a message thanking God for what she called positive results in Diddy's case. What caught people's attention was the fact that her post was liked by none other than Kandi Burruss and current RHOA cast member Shamea Morton. The fact that Kandi and Shamea liked the post seems to signal support for Diddy, and it's especially surprising in Kandi's case, considering she was once falsely accused of drugging someone or the intent to, and to sexually assault them, a moment she has since publicly condemned and fought hard to overcome. So her silent endorsement of this post feels confusing. While Sean Combs may have avoided conviction on the most severe charges, many still believe he's guilty of the disturbing acts he's been accused of, including RAPE, kidnapping, and abuse of minors. Let's not forget, there's actual video footage of him physically attacking Cassie. I'm side-eyeing Kandi and Shamea very hard right now. And I am too. Let's take away the fact that he wasn't found guilty on a number of the charges. There's still the evidence that he was physically attacking this woman. So that's why I said, just why are you liking anything regarding him? If you want to be supportive of him, do it in silence, do it invisibly. The fact that you're putting that out there for people to be able to pick up on and see, I feel it's just really disturbing. And especially, Shamea being a victim of DV, even more recently speaking about it on this most recent season and crying about it. It's questionable at best. It really is. And when I heard about it, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm shocked, like, oh my God, I can't believe, because I don't know these people. And that's why I stay on this thought that people really need to stop worshiping these people and idolizing them, because there really is nothing to idolize. A lot of these people got opportunities. They were able to get in positions where they were able to meet the right people, suck the right DICK, slide down on the right DICK. I'm just being honest. I'm sorry, guys. Just take it for what it's worth. I ain't calling Shamea a whore, and I believe that she and her husband, their relationship, it works for them. But she gave off that when she had, when she started the season, how she met him, and when she found out he didn't have any children, she was just kind of like throwing herself on the guy. That's pretty much what she said without saying it. And it worked out for her. Cool. Been in the marriage for 10 years. It works. Cool. But to be a former victim of DV and you're going to be liking some posts about Diddy, I wouldn't even say getting off, but not being fully held accountable is just disturbing. I'm going to read some of the comments because, again, like I said, I'm not that shocked, but it just is not a good look. All right, let's get into some of these comments. How anyone can see that video of Cassie being dragged by him and still support this beast, I'll never know. Of course they did, but Kandi wants to be mad at Phaedra, which don't make sense now. Let me unfollow Kandi real quick. Sad because I really liked her. I don't follow Shamea anyway, and the way she has been acting on RHOA, they can cancel the entire show forever. This is really disappointing and disgusting. What y'all expect? It's because they both freaky and probably shared each other's spouse at one point. Oh my God. Listen, I wouldn't say it is a stretch. I wouldn't. Shamea is a survivor of DV. So disappointed to see her like this post. Wow. And as for Kandi, and this is what I was saying, her being the survivor of DV and coming out on the other side, it's not about the fact there's nothing that they could justify for liking those posts. Period. Nothing. Because this case, yes, we know he was not charged with DV. So we know the case was not about that, but those things definitely can be taken into consideration when it comes to sentencing, for sure. And if you all think that that judge is not going to take those things into consideration during sentencing, you have another thing coming, because he definitely took it into consideration and decided, you know what? I'm gonna let your ass sit on ice in this jail cell until sentencing. No, you're not getting out on bail. He definitely took it into consideration. So if the judge could take it into consideration, why can't these people take that into consideration when they just can't say, you know what? I'm sit this one out. I'm not even sharing my thoughts on it, period. And if I'm in an interview and somebody asks me what I think about it, I'm just gonna say no comment. Because then, yeah, it would just leave it up to imagination of people, of what people feel like they mean by that. But you can't say that that's what they meant when they just said no comment. So when you like this post, you're pretty much saying, oh yeah, I got a comment, and my comment is, I'm glad the jury ruled it the way that they did. Free Diddy, period. Now this person says, now tell me why y'all went out y'all way to show that they like that message. These pages be wild. I don't really think anyone went out of their way to show that they liked it, but likes aren't hidden. I don't think they are, at least. So if they were reviewing the post and it just happened to show their names at the top, because I know when I saw the post, it showed like by Shamea, Morton, and others. It's right there for you to see. It's not even something that you had to dig for and search. This person said, disappointed and disgusted. This person posted this gif of Phaedra, of all people. Something in the bit of milk ain't clean. Oh Lord, all these Phaedra gifs. The post is about not being in a position to judge someone else, and that's God's job. And they could just be relating to the caption. And I'm sorry, I don't agree, and I have the right to not agree with that. Shaking my head now at Candy and at Shamea Moore, and please don't piss me off. I like y'all, but whether you think he's guilty of SCX trafficking or not, we all know this case is not about him being a freak in the bedroom, and he's a woman beater. How can y'all support a woman beater having daughters quickly, and you being women yourselves? So it's a trip. Here we have the post that the and that is beyond me. I don't know this woman, so it is what it is. It's not right. But this woman is allegedly being Kim Porter's best friend to say this is God's will. Child, please. That's like, let me stop. I was about to go into something and I'm not going to go down that. But yeah, likes Shamea Morton, Candy Burruss. So you all remember what what Phaedra alluded to in that season. What was it, season 9? When she said that Shamea does both Candy and Todd. Those were the allegations that Phaedra put out there in that scene when she was with Porsha and Sheree. And Portia's like, yeah, they're real close. Mhm. This is a trip. It is not. It is not that shocking, though. I'm just going to say that. But I really would love to know what you guys think about this, because this is sad. Like I said, it is possible that it was about the fact that God's will is perfect and we can't judge and blah, blah, blah. And they were liking that. I don't really agree. But even if that's what they were liking it about, I really feel like that's the time that you just not like a post. Leave your stamp of approval off of it completely. Because in light of their situations and things that have been brought up about them or things that they have gone through, this is not the type of stuff that they should be attaching themselves to whatsoever. All right, and real quick, I just want to talk about this real quick because I saw this on Instagram, and also I had someone that commented on a recent piece of content that I did about Portia, and I'm just going to share my screen and share this post with you guys on Instagram, and then just share my thoughts on it. So The internet is crowning Porsha Williams as the first American woman to scam a Nigerian man. Now, the jokes have been for years that these Nigerian scammers are out here scamming people in their emails and then on social media and the DMs and whatnot, right? So now they're crowning Porsha Williams as having beaten a Nigerian scammer. That's pretty much what they're basically saying. And listen, it's funny, but I'm not going to say she scammed him, but in light of the fact that a lot of people do feel that he was targeted and do agree with him, but still don't feel that he is a victim because he willingly went into that. He just is the gump that fell for the poison, the big button smile. You know what I mean? Portia don't mean no good to nobody, period, except maybe her daughter and maybe her mama too. But that's it. And I will never apologize for how I feel about her. And I just don't feel that she has integrity. And she's not the only one. So you know, I'm not burning her at the stake because she doesn't have integrity, but I'm also not going to cheer and celebrate the fact that she went in for the kill and she got it because even though Simon may not have been an upstanding individual, it doesn't mean that it makes it okay for what she did in terms of going in for the kill, the proverbial kill, not this, literal, and setting her sights on what she wanted material wise and finance wise, and she got it. It still doesn't make it right. So, I had someone because talked about, I just talked a little bit about the final scene where she's showcasing herself in the home. And, and I said final scene in Simon's house. The reason I said that is because even though she may have gotten the house technically in the prenup, her name is not on the home. Simon bought the home before he married her, and she was married to him for 15 months. I don't care if it wasn't Portia. I wouldn't say that that would be fair for anyone, but he was the gump that went in on the prenup like that, thinking that the marriage was going to last maybe at least 5 years. He didn't expect it to be 15 months, period. And he stated, and I believe him, that he found out about, she pretty much did him in a way like Cordell did her, where she claimed that she found out about it on social media, on Twitter, that he filed for divorce. Simon said he found out about it. He was not told by her. They did not have any communication or conversation saying that she wasn't happy. He just found out, like, had the rug pulled up from underneath him, that she filed for divorce. And when he was trying to reach out to her to speak to her and all of the different things, she wasn't responding. She wouldn't speak to him. So it's like, yeah, I stand on what I mean by that, but technically it ain't even Simon's house, it's the bank's house. The house is owned by the bank. And if you pay that note every month, then you get to stay in it. But if you don't, you're out of there. You don't own the home. Simon doesn't own it. She doesn't own it. And she only gets to stay in the house for at least maybe another year and a half, at most, I should say. And it has to be sold. And he's going to get 50% of the proceeds of whatever that is. So doesn't really sound like it's her house to me. It sounds like it's a house she's able to continue to live in. And as much as people could say, well, the court order is the court order, and yes, they can freeze assets and this and that and the other the um to get the judgments paid to her for the monthly alimony and the bills and all the other stuff. But if the only asset he has in this country is that home, are they going to foreclose on the home for her to get the money? Like, that doesn't even make sense. And I'm not saying that he is not going to pay it, but he said he's going to appeal it. So I don't really think he has a vested interest to pay it. He has been deported. He's no longer a resident of this country. So they really can't enforce it. They cannot go and get assets out of banks from another country to do that. It doesn't work that way, guys. I know some people may want to believe that, but it just doesn't work that way. So, with that being said, someone was like, what's the obsession of people being in complete denial about Portia's divorce settlement? If it was just Simon's house, she wouldn't be in it. She is allowed to stay in it, but I said it's Simon's house because he was the one that purchased it before they got married. And right now, it is the bank's home. And it's never going to be anyone's of theirs because the house has to be sold and he will get 50% of the the proceeds after everything is paid and all of the things. So that doesn't sound like Portia's house to me. It just sounds like a home she's allowed to continue to stay in. So, with that being said, I responded to this and I said, I report it as I see it, and technically it's the bank's house. She gets to live in for another year and a half and has to sell it and give Simon his equity percentage, which is half of that. So it doesn't sound like her house to me under those terms, just saying. So, what's the obsession with people celebrating her as if this is something to aspire to? They are calling her the first American to scam a Nigerian. So, if that is admirable, then so be it. And so, yeah, this title for me, it would be definitely more fitting than to be celebrating this woman who's getting to live in a home that technically she can't even afford to pay on her own. And that's that. So, if he was that much of a scammer, this home wouldn't even be something that she would be able to stay in because it would have meant that his finances are scammy, him getting the loan was a scam, all of the different things. But if he was a scammer, financially, she would not be benefiting, right? But they're just using the fact that he was in the country illegally, not saying that that's not a big deal, but just saying the fact that they're using that to just title and label him as a scammer. But yet, he was worth $300 million. It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, guys, I want to know what you guys think about it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and let's just go ahead and talk about it there.
Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.